All right, welcome to another episode of Ordinary Guys Bourbon. With us today, very special guest, the first female ever on the program. This is my sister, Julie Thomas. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
39, have 3 kids, married to Joe Thomas. Definitely come from a family of drinkers. He's my brother. So I drink a lot of wine, dipping my toes into some bourbon, and I'm unemployed right now.
Well, that's a lot to process and digest. So first of all, 3 kids, great little rascals. They have Duke, the sinker, and the girl, right?
Yeah.
And what are they, like 7, 10 years old, something like that now?
7, 5, and 3.
Okay, no,
Okay.
but all unemployed, right? In between jobs.
In between jobs.
That's kind of exciting.
Unemployed is more fun to talk
So
about.
how much time are you going to take off?
Month and a half.
Month and a half, just
Yep.
to kind of reset yourself.
Yep.
Now this new job that you're going into, we won't go too deep into that, but this new role you're going to be in, very similar, kind of similar, same space.
Very similar. Working with a lot of people that I worked with a long time ago, but it goes into robotic surgery. So I'll be selling robotic robots to VA and DoD facilities.
Okay. Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah.
And you're not a bourbon drinker. I know that.
I'm not. I have my glass of wine, but I'm going to be a bourbon drinker today.
But you had gone recently and visited one of the distilleries in Kentucky, right? Was it Maker's Mark you went to?
Maker's Mark. So I took my team when I was employed
Okay.
to Louisville, Kentucky, and we took a party bus.
Okay.
We went to Maker's Mark, and so we got a whole tour section around, and then we got to dip the bottle in the red wax, which was really cool. Got Dad a t-shirt.
Okay.
That's all he wears are t-shirts.
Right.
But it was great. It was fun.
That's probably good. I think he might have gotten rid of my 1993 Traverse City Soccer Tournament t-shirt to make room for
About time.
Maker's Mark. That's good. That's good. We're not having a Maker's Mark product today. Today we've got Baker's, right? And I want to tell you a little bit about Baker's. It's a single barrel. This bottle is about a $60 offering. It was originally released in 1992 as part of Jim Beam's small batch collection. So that includes Basil Hayden, Knob Creek, Baker's, and also Booker's. Booker's was released a couple years prior to that. Created by Booker No. So Booker No is a 6th generation distiller at Jim Beam. Right? Jim Beam, the history of Jim Beam is probably one of the deepest in the industry. Their first distilling happened in 1795. That was with Jacob Beam. And then they've gone on to have, in the family, David Beam. He was the second master distiller. He was credited with expanding capacity. David M. Beam was credited with expanding national distribution. They actually moved, I think, the distillery to be closer to some rail lines. And then Jim Beam was credited with rebuilding the company following Prohibition. Jer Beam was credited with introducing Beam bourbon overseas. Then the first not named Beam person, but in the family, Frederick Booker No II, he introduced the small batch, including this offering here. His son, Fred Booker No III, is a current master distiller and global ambassador, really cool guy. And then his son, Freddie Booker No IV, is continuing the tradition. He's released some products as well. I think they call Little Book is what they call them.
I think in Louisville we drove and we tried to go to the Jim Beam distillery.
Yeah.
It was like a white building with like black. It was very like modern farmhousey.
That's right.
We went there, but it was closed.
Oh.
And they had like a lot of rocking chairs outside. It was really pretty, but they were closed. So we just took pictures outside.
You missed out. Baker Beam is what this is named after, right? So Baker Beam was the Jim Beam's grand nephew. He was I think the cousin of Booker No. And Baker Beam actually was the founder of Jim Beam Black Label, not what we're reviewing today, but that was first released in 1978. And that's one of my favorite bourbons, but we'll get into that a different day. There's also, this is a 7-year-old version. They also have a 13-year-old version that was a special release in 2019 and 2023. So you remember how the program works from all of the previous episodes you've watched. We've got 2 samples in front of you. One is neat, right out of the bottle, and one is however you want it. I think you've got yours over ice. And then we'll get into the scoring.
I gotta move my wine out of the way.
Yeah, well. And by the way, as far as alcohol consumption, I don't drink at all anymore. Only when we're recording the show. We record like 3 episodes a day, but only when the show's on.
3 episodes a day.
Well, you know.
So do I take this? I don't down it, right? It's not like a shot. I sip it.
Well, I'm just gonna take a little sip of it.
Okay.
Right, just kind of.
Do I smell?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
When Andy was on the program, that's got a little bit of fire to it.
So when we were at Maker's Mark,
Mhm.
and we were in the area where they had all the, what are those, like not kegs, what are those, the caskets?
The barrels?
The barrels.
They're not caskets.
Not
I know that much.
caskets. Not caskets. But we had a couple sips from those, and it had like a lot of residue in it. It was disgusting.
The char from the barrel.
Yeah. It was gross.
So
how do they get that out
they
in a
filter it.
bottle?
They filter it. So the process is, you know, the heat of the bourbon, right? The alcohol content can range as it's being aged, right? And it goes in and out of the barrel, and that gives it the flavor, right?
Yeah.
So when they go to bottle the bourbon, they'll pour that out. They'll filter that, and then they'll add water to whatever the desired dilution is for whatever the proof is. So this one maybe came out of a barrel at 120 proof, 130 proof,
Yeah.
and then they added water back to get to 107 proof.
It's definitely 107. I can feel.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of
It's
little
strong.
hello,
It's strong.
little hello. But you know, the neat thing for and you're not a bourbon drinker, so it's a single barrel. So you can buy another barrel, another bottle of Baker's, and it will taste a little bit different, right? Just because every barrel will age a little bit different. They put them in the same areas in their rick houses, right? So they've got the same climate they're under. So you expect the same kind of flavor to occur to the liquid. This one was barreled in December 2016, so it's a 7-year-old when it was bottled. So
Does bourbon act like wine, like red wine? So
is it healthy?
I mean, of course, I know you're going to say yes. It's healthy, just like wine. That I would answer that wine is healthy. But the longer the earlier it's bottled, the more it ages. Does it get better?
So it doesn't age or change flavor at all in the bottle.
It's just like a.
That's right.
That's when it was.
Whatever happened in the barrel is what creates the flavor, right? And obviously you don't want to store it in like a warm environment in the bottle or in the sunlight, right? I think that affects the flavor over time. But I think a bottle of bourbon can, if it's properly sealed and properly stored, can last, you know, decades.
How many bottles do you have?
Let's not talk about that. So let's you've had a couple samples there. Let's get to our official ballots and give it a score here. The categories, as you can read, heritage, maximum score is 20. Taste and drinkability, maximum score is 40. And I'm interested to see where you rank this because you're not a bourbon drinker.
Do I base it on this or this?
Well, they're the same product.
But they taste very different.
Yeah. Whatever you, if you prefer it on ice,
Okay, got it.
rate it that way.
Okay. Heritage, you went through everything, so.
When Andy was on the program, we were sampling Breckenridge. I think it was episode 6 or episode 4 of season 1, which we're still on, of course. And Andy took a sample, and then he started going like this. And Chris Korn was on the program, I think episode 2, and he's a big bourbon drinker, and he had a way of he wanted to breathe it in, you know, and you see everyone has different ways of sampling bourbon. There's something called the Kentucky Chew, which is where you're pretty much like chewing on the liquid, right? But it distributes it around your mouth. That's actually how Booker Noe would sample bourbon.
I feel like that would hurt my teeth, right?
Well, I don't think they're like chewing on it. And
Well, I know,
like
but
liquid
just-
isn't really hard.
But you know, anything cold, like in your teeth, like ice cream, that
Yeah.
hurt. That hurt.
It could,
Okay.
it could, sure.
You said this was $60?
It is a $60 offering, yes.
Okay.
I mean, prices are different in different states, but yeah.
Bottle design?
Bottle design, label design.
Do I have to do this math?
You do have to do the math. I'll give you some extra time, and don't feel bad if the math is wrong. We've had guests that have summed up their math and not been anywhere close, but we'll fix that in post.
Out
Edit, they call it.
of 100, I did something wrong here. I did. I did.
All right. You're still working on some of that math.
Okay, Dave, I failed math. Okay?
Okay.
Not everyone is the brains of the family.
Well,
I didn't get the brains. Or
everyone has a special thing to offer.
Okay.
Okay. So Heritage, maximum 20. What did you score on Heritage?
I did 12, and I know that you went through the history. I couldn't remember what date it started, and I know there was a lot of generations. Couldn't remember it all.
It's okay.
Probably because I already started drinking the bourbon, so I did 12.
Okay.
Because I feel like bourbon probably started really, really, really early, maybe earlier than that. I could have been wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. I think there's different stories. Right? Elijah Craig was one of the very first distillers, and I think he's late 1700s as well with his product, which is now owned, I think, by who owns that now?
We already went through that. I didn't get the smarts of the family, so.
Either way, you got a 12. I got a 19. I thought it was real rich in history, and I think now that I'm thinking about it, this came out in 1992, right? So whereas the Jim Beam family and the Jim Beam label certainly has a lot of history, but this product itself doesn't have that much history. So maybe I was a little bit generous with my scoring.
Did you just say that I was better? My score is more accurate with this particular bottle?
No, I didn't say that at all.
I think everyone heard it here first. That's what he was saying in a roundabout way.
And I should have expected this from the first female in the program, but we're not trying to get into that kind of an argument, right?
I'm just saying, it's female or not, it's brother and sister.
Well.
And I was probably right on that. But continue.
I'm not sure. Taste and drinkability.
I did 31. I would have scored a lot lower if it was neat.
Yeah.
With a little bit more water. Me, I'm a wine drinker. With more ice and water, I could drink this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I gave it a 32, so we're real close in that category. Affordability, $60 offering, right? Maximum 30.
I put 31, and here's why.
You put 25.
25.
Yeah.
So a high amount, because there's a lot, and I feel like if I drink just 2 of these, this size, I would be drunk. So I feel like 60 is relatively cheap for as much as you're getting.
Yeah, that's a good point. I give it a 24, so we're in the ballpark.
Okay.
And what I was thinking is, you've got a higher proof offering. There's 107 proof, right? So like the way I normally drink it is with ice and water, right? And when I'm drinking something that has a little bit more heat to it, I end up diluting it down more, so the bottle will go further.
Yeah.
Right? So the same thing that you're talking about.
Okay.
And then design.
I like the bottle.
Like the bottle.
I like the bottle cap.
Bottle cap is solid. That's a great point.
Yeah.
And I give it a 7. A little bit away from being the perfect score. There's a bottle that we reviewed earlier by Frank August, and the bottle for Frank August is probably the only one that I think I'll ever give a 10 to. But it's a classy bottle. I like the shape.
I like when there's like a thick base of glass. I like that, and I just thought like it was very basic, but sometimes basic and simple is I like that.
That's right.
And then I thought this was kind of like the cherry on top. I don't drink a lot of bourbon, so I don't know a lot of bourbon bottles, so I liked it.
It's interesting because Mom, on an earlier episode with Dad, had said that I think we were drinking Elijah Craig Toasted, and she didn't like that a lot of bourbon bottles have this. It looks like it's empty.
Like they're
cheating you.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's.
Remember when Dad used to drink Labatt?
Yeah, he doesn't anymore.
No, you know why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the bottles are a little bit smaller now.
Yeah.
But they still come in like cases of that size. And it's like, but I'm still paying the same amount. So I'm getting less beer for the same amount.
Yeah, when he found out that they were 11.5-ounce bottles, he was like, they've been jipping him out of a whole bottle a case.
Yeah.
He was furious. Mm-hmm. So it was great to have you on, and maybe Joe will have an opportunity to be on sometime in the future. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Until next time, have a good one.
Thank you.